Welcome to Let's Talk Red Hill, your source for the latest updates and insights on the Navy's progress at the Red Hill Bulk Fuel Storage Facility. This podcast is dedicated to keeping you informed, addressing your concerns, and sharing progress straight from the experts leading the way.
Hello everyone, I'm Rear Admiral Mark Williams, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Red Hill. Today we're talking air quality monitoring, and joining us is Noel Bizcocho from our environmental compliance team. Noel, thanks for joining us today. Why don't you tell the audience a little about yourself?
Okay, well, thank you for having me, sir. My name is Noel. I'm from the island of Guam, though I do have huge family ties here on this island. After completing my internship at the University of Hawaii and eventually getting my degree in biology, I entered the environmental field where I've been doing that for the last 18 years in that area. Here at the Navy Closure Task Force, as you said, I'm in the environmental compliance group, handling air quality and also assisting in hazardous waste operations.
Well, thanks again, Noel, for joining us, and we're glad to have you part of the team. Since we started degassing and venting operations back early last year, your team has been conducting air quality monitoring in and around Red Hill. Can you tell us more about that?
Certainly. So the Navy is deliberate with safety measures during tank cleaning and site closure at Red Hill to ensure that our activities will not pose a risk to human health. This includes monitoring the air quality in and around the perimeter of the facility. I know in one of the previous episodes, podcast episodes, Commander Barkley talked about the specifics in air quality monitoring during active tank ventilation. In addition to that, we have a system in place that monitors our air quality around the facility, and this also includes times when we're not actively venting.
So for our audience, where are these monitors located, and what's the strategy behind the placement of them?
Yes, so currently we have 9 air quality monitoring stations. They're all strategically placed around the facility. These locations are primarily based on the trending wind direction. At Red Hill, the wind direction typically follows the ridge line, which blows from the northeast side on the Mauka side to the southwest side on the Mackay side. The air quality monitoring locations have all been approved by the Department of Health, and they're all situated downwind, along in the boundaries of Red Hill. These monitors, they also provide real-time data, which allows us to ensure that the air quality standards are maintained and for the protection of the community.
So what exactly are these monitors measuring?
Yes, so NCTF is doing environmental surveillance of particles in the air, specifically for things called volatile organic compounds, or VOCs. Just as a quick background, VOCs are known emitted gases in certain household products, such as paints and air fresheners. In the Red Hills case, the VOCs are emitted from fuel as well. Another example is, when you're filling up your gas tank in your car, the scent you smell is from VOCs. VOCs, they're organic compounds that evaporate easily in room temperature, and concentrations of VOCs are consistently higher indoors than they are outdoors.
Okay, so why are we measuring them?
Yeah, so that's a good question. And in the interest of protecting our workers and the community, the Navy, in coordination with the Department of Health, they've implemented standards or limits that the Navy has been adhering to since we started our tank vent operations. We utilize things like best available control technology, or BACT. They can be found in the Clean Air Act for meeting these air emission standards. In other words, we're monitoring and controlling what is coming out of the vent stack. Other things that the air quality monitoring stations measure, there are wind speed, wind direction, the temperature and humidity as well.
And why do we monitor the weather like that?
Yes, so another good question. Weather monitoring is crucial to air quality monitoring because the weather patterns can significantly impact how VOCs move and react within the atmosphere.
And so earlier you mentioned DOH is Department of Health's approved standards. What are the air quality monitoring requirements that they've outlined?
Yes, so the Department of Health established that our air quality should not exceed 38 parts per million volume of total VOCs in 1 hour time-weighted average. I know that's a mouthful. In other words, it's just the way to think about it's an average exposure in an hour, not just the highest or the lowest that it registered at a specific moment in time.
And so how are our current operations measuring up?
What we're finding out that the VOC levels at our facility boundaries, they continually remain significantly below this limit. During our active tank venting operations, Since the inception of the air quality monitoring back in May 2024, we've never exceeded nor even come close to the limit. The average has consistently remained below 1 part per million total volume of VOCs. Another thing to note is that well before we even hit that 38 parts per million total volume of VOCs, our team stationed at the Red Hill facility, they'll immediately shut down the active operations if the time-weighted average starts to trend closer to that limit, and we're monitoring that. In the extreme unlikely event that our monitors do reach the limit, there's a series of notifications that we would make, and this includes notifying the regulators, the Hawaii Emergency Management Agency, and of course the public. And we do this via the mobile app, the website, and also a press release.
So I'm curious, and I'm sure our audience is as well. What has been the highest reading to date?
Yes, so to date, that would be around 1.9 parts per million volume of total VOCs in the 1 hour time weighted average. That got picked up in our monitors back in May 2024. Otherwise, it's just been consistently remained below 1 part per million total VOCs.
So you mentioned it briefly, but can you remind our audience where they can find the data here?
Yeah, so during our active tank ventilation, the NCTF provides near real-time data hourly in our NCTF mobile app. We also post daily and monthly data in our Navy Closure Task Force website on the AQM page.
Well, Noel, I appreciate you taking the time today to talk about air quality monitoring at Red Hill.
Oh, thanks for having me, sir.
Yep, and hey, as always, we appreciate you tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Let's Talk Red Hill.
Mahalo for listening to Let's Talk Red Hill. Stay tuned for our next episode, and be sure to subscribe to stay up to date. Be sure to download the mobile app by searching NCTF Red Hill in the Apple Store or Google Play.